Alec, welcome
Yes.
back. It's a Ghostbusters, the alternate universe.
Yeah, it sure is.
Forget
It
everything you knew about
sure is.
Ghostbusters. This is the new reality we're in.
The new reality, which is yet another remake of Ghostbusters 1.
Going through the same story beats again.
But yeah, it's not the exact same this time around. It's not the exact same story beats, but
Because
I
some of them are
much
men, some
prefer
of them are
that.
women.
I much prefer that though, to what we instead received, which was a I think I feel like the discussion around this movie when it came out is a lot more interesting than the movie itself.
Hmm.
How Sony spun the distaste for the trailer as being about hating women,
Mm-hmm.
when if you look at like the statistics, like 0.1% of people that watched the video commented, watched the trailer, like commented on it, and
Mm-hmm.
like only like a fraction of those people that commented on it said anything about women at all, or negative about women at all. Meaning that the and in fact, I think even the reactions on the video where it had, which by the way, YouTube doesn't have dislikes anymore, so I don't think you can even see this anymore. But I think like the interactions were also like statistically small in terms of like all the dislikes on it. Yeah, it was one of the most disliked movie trailers on YouTube. It might even still be. Who knows now? Um, but the statistics even for interaction, positive versus negative, were also very small in terms of. But it was made in this whole like campaign that, oh, nerds hate women, and around that. And then the movie came out and it sucked and it bombed horribly because it wasn't a good movie. And it had nothing to do
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
fact that it had women in it. It had everything to do with the fact that it is what it is, and it's not Ghostbusters
yeah.
in name only.
Look, I don't think it's as bad as I expected, honestly, but I think it's very unremarkable.
There were some moments that I laughed at. I will
Yeah.
admit, um, but very few and far between. Like extremely few and far between. Like maybe I could probably count on one hand the times that like it was like, yeah, that was kind of funny.
I think Main Girl, whatever I forget the name.
I don't remember the name of the characters. Kirsten Wig. They just named the
Kristen Wiig. I
actors.
think
They're.
she's the best. She's my favorite of them.
I would actually. So here's the thing. I don't like Leslie Jones. I don't think she is funny
Uh-huh.
at all. I think she was the best character in this movie
Yeah.
because she's like all of the others are just like I don't even know what they are. Like they're literally all just playing their stereotypes, like the stereotypes of what they did on SNL and their oeuvre of comedy. And then Leslie Jones is there just being like an actual down to earth human being.
But they're also slightly like alternate universe versions of the original Ghostbusters. It's like they're all
It's
trying to model.
so
They're similar, very similar in what they try to do.
but is Kirsten Wig similar in what Bill Murray was at all?
But that's
She doesn't.
she's the closest equivalent.
Is
I
she?
think she's the best for me because
I guess because she's
she's
perving on Chris Hemsworth.
she's perfect on Chris Hemsworth, and she's got some semblance of like dry humor in comparison to the other one where
But it's
it's
just
like,
awkward. It's just awkward humor. It's not like actually biting sarcasm. It's just like,
but I just really didn't like Kate McKinnon's character. I really didn't
oh
like,
no, she's
but
horrible.
she's obviously supposed to be Egon, right? Like that closest thing to Egon is like the weird one that's like
Whatever she was, she was supposed to be. But like, what?
I didn't like her.
Oh no, I hated her. And that was the thing. And that's the thing. I don't like Leslie Jones. I just do not find her funny. I don't
I
think she's
hate
ever
her.
been. I don't think she's ever been funny. And
You know, we. I
but
don't think she was particularly funny either. But
and
we are watching Supermarket Sweep, which is hosted by Leslie
does
Jones.
she host
Yeah,
it? I've never even supermarkets. Is that a remake of like a '70s game show?
it
That's what it
is.
sounds
It's
like.
the remake of the like '80s and '90s show. Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it a watch now because I thought she was great in this movie. Kate McKinnon, meanwhile, I've always liked her. I think she's very funny. she was miserable every time she was on screen. I hated it. I was like, stop moving, stop doing things. Oh yeah,
Stop
she's
doing
just
things.
stop doing. Yeah,
Oh,
just
and
terrible.
Melissa McCarthy.
And Melissa McCarthy, yeah,
She's all right. I'm not a fan of Melissa McCarthy either,
I
but
don't like her either, but
it's just like some
she was
weird.
okay.
What a weird like combination of women they chose for this.
Yeah, yeah, it was a little
It's like
bizarre.
comedian women, but like you don't like if they wanted to remake Ghostbusters, you didn't have to make it comedian women. Like it could have just been women that could fit the mold. You know, like when they casted the original Ghostbusters, it's not like we need comedians to play these roles.
Well, actually, I mean, I think the key goal was, I think Harold Ramis and I think Harold Ramis, Ivan Reitman, and Bill Murray had been on a project together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the case. It was either Ramis, Aykroyd, and Reitman, or Ramis, Murray, and Reitman were all on a project together, and they were all very funny and worked extremely well, and they had a lot of chemistry
Mm-hmm.
together. So they sort of had this idea about kind of making a film about ghost pest control,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And so it did, to me, it is the perfect blend of four. Well, I actually don't know how much Ernie Hudson. I don't know how much of a comedian Ernie Hudson was really, but three, at the very least, three people that were established, either funny men or writers, all talented at their craft. Ivan Reitman, who improved himself as a director, and you have Ernie Hudson in there as well. I don't know his whole history with everything. I do know that he's often wanted to be more, which I think he deserves, because I love Winston. I think he's a great character. I do agree that there is some. It definitely feels like product of its time, where it's like, well, we can't really prop up the black guy at all. You know, it's like, that's too bad, because I think he's great, but
But you don't need to hire comedians.
You don't have to, and if you tried to manufacture it in the way that they sort of did, it just failed miserably.
Yeah, because I think the dynamic works is like you can be funny but not be the comedian type, and it's like the dynamic of working off of, like, sometimes you need the character to be the straight guy to the comedian.
Yeah,
not just all like cracking jokes and doing their weird like character bits and stuff. But
well, that's the thing, is that Paul Feig basically was like he basically would just turn the cameras on and they would just do whatever. They just did whatever they want. They just made up whatever jokes they wanted, like according to in the scene, the script. Which, by the way, I do want to ask. So there are two readily available versions of this film to watch. I did not realize this until I started watching it. I watched the quote unquote extended version of the film.
I don't know if I watched. What is the extended? How do I know?
Okay. There's some. What's a scene? I'm trying to think of. Was there a scene where Melissa McCarthy and Kirsten Wiig performed like a dance number that they did in college for a presentation that they had?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they were talking about they were going through like a photo album and finding like old stuff, and they're like, "Oh, we should do that." That was not in the original film.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
So we accidentally. So here's the thing. I doing a little research while I was watching the film. They're basically two completely different. It's not just an extended version. It's basically another cut of the film. There's whole jokes and like there's small alterations to scenes that like they're completely different jokes at different parts of the film. Like when they're looking at the firehouse, for example, Kirsten Wiig actually says, "Oh, fuck you," to the lady, instead of like, "Oh, hell no," or something like that. I think she says in the original. So it's like, that's what I mean. They have like they're completely different cuts of the film, basically, because they do different jokes. They have different sort of lines and stuff in different segments of the film. It's very bizarre. I don't know why that's the case. It's very.
Honestly, I was falling asleep hardcore in this movie though, so
If I wasn't, yeah, I was
I
actually
might have
getting.
missed some scenes anyway.
I was getting a little sleepy at a few points. However, I will say, my current low bar for a film was a film that had me falling asleep in the climax of the movie, and that was 2016's Assassin's Creed. I straight up fell asleep at the end of the movie. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Well, I was actually watched it back to back after Ghostbusters 2. So
no. Well, okay, that's you get to see it. I guess you get to see a good movie. You get to see one good movie. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so basic framework of the film. We have the first 10 minutes of the movie mean basically nothing at all to the rest of the plot. Then we are introduced to our principal cast. Did you ever feel that was very weird when guy from The Office was like
Gabe from The Office?
Gabe from The Office is giving this tour that means absolutely nothing.
It was weird.
And yeah, I thought that was gonna like lead into like, oh, there's this mansion thing, and it was like, no, they just
really
never
so much.
Doesn't really matter ever again.
It's just like, oh, there's ghost stuff happening. You know, whoa, and then go into the theme.
Yeah, and then his character and the other character in charge of the mansion are just dropped completely off the face of the earth after they find one ghost in this place. They completely ignore them. They don't show up in the movie anymore. And it's like, it's so strange. Like, it was just very bizarre to me.
But then so much of this movie was like mirrored in parallel of the original in different ways, and then they had a whole reference the firehouse. Is like, oh, they're going to the firehouse. Like, no, that's too much money, $21,000 a month. And then they went to a Chinese place instead.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
So it's like,
ha.
It's like, it was kind of expensive. How did they ever afford that, right? Kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's like,
and then Chris Hemsworth. Enter Chris Hemsworth, who I forgot was in this movie.
Why was Chris Hemsworth like stupid and vapid and like?
He was so dumb. That was his character, though. He was so dumb.
His character was that he's hot and stupid.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that character, the secretary in Ghostbusters? Remember how she wasn't that at all?
Okay, so they did their own little thing with it. They put their own little flair on it.
But why? I don't understand why. Like, what's the point? There's so much of this movie.
It is weird, but some of the gags I thought were funny. Some of his gags.
I
love the one where he hung up. Where he just hung up immediately. It's like, oh my god, and he's like, yeah, I was just not into that conversation.
Oh, the one that I liked was when they're talking about him, and he's like looking around the studio. And he's like, "Do you know that fish tanks are submarines for fish or something like that?" I think it was something. He said something like that, and I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. But
and he had a hide and seek tournament to go to at one point. He's like, we're in the finals. We got
I don't even remember that joke.
Maybe seen different movies.
Maybe, or I just forgot, or I just completely forgot, because
it's hard to say now. We never
there's
know.
so much that's unremarkable. Like, okay, so another thing. So you know how the Ghostbusters are supposed to be like, it's supposed to be champions of science, like science triumphing over these supernatural forces. Like that's kind of like an aspect of the films, the first two films.
Mm-hmm.
What science is accomplished every time that they do anything like quote unquote serious science, it's like they gotta crack jokes and talk about like queefing and like and like bouncing around the street, and it's like everything is a joke. And I mean,
everything is a joke to them.
But they're not like clever or funny. It's just stupid and lazy and awful.
And awful.
It's like it feels, there's a weird aspect of it too that feels like bizarrely mean-spirited, to specifically to the core fan base of Ghostbusters, which is the primary antagonist of this film,
Mm-hmm.
is a guy who's basically a fat nerd, like a fat nerd who likes the Ghostbusters, basically. Also, the final monster in the city is the Ghostbusters
Is the
logo
Ghostbusters
that
good?
they shoot in the dick.
They did that. Yeah.
What? Name me one redeeming male character in this movie. There are none.
No, well, Kevin's good. They came around to Kevin.
What about? But no, okay. What about Kevin? Is a good character. He is hot and therefore it
I didn't say he was a good character. He was an okay guy.
allows Kristen Wiig to thirst after. Yeah, but he's stupid.
Yeah, he could be stupid.
But he's not like a good person.
He's fine. He's not a bad person.
Right, but there were good female characters in Ghostbusters.
Okay,
we have two.
I don't think we need a male representation. Like, just
but what I'm saying is the movie is so up its own ass with its agenda, with this weird agenda to like feminize the Ghostbusters. Like the Ghostbusters are a bunch of schlubby nerds. Like, what's so testosterone filled about the Ghostbusters that we need to like? We didn't need to have this sort of like weird like feminist angle on it. It's like you could have just put females, you could have remade it with females and that would have been totally fine. With women, have women in the roles. Like, that's the most interesting thing about the concept. But instead they just wasted it. It's not funny. There's like weird.
I didn't think they were actually as heavy-handed as I thought they would be about it being like a feminist thing, because I really didn't get. They didn't make any jokes like up until the kicking in the nuts thing, I guess, but they don't really make jokes about like women. This is women versus men thing.
But the whole movie is about men not taking them seriously. That's like the whole movie. They have the guy, the professor who comes at Kristen Wiig a couple of times, digs on her a couple of times, once on the TV, and then a few times in person because she's like, you're not serious, we don't take you seriously. We have the mayor who's just an ass. Also, I don't know how the mayor all of a sudden heard this. Well, you did one thing, now you're going to the mayor now, and it's like. It's kind of weird how they literally only did one thing to get noticed by the mayor, but no. But then you have the CIA or FBI, whatever, the FBI. I don't remember. You have the two suits, the feds, the two feds. They don't take them seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You've got obviously schlubby nerd villain guy. He hates them.
You have people not taking the Ghostbusters seriously in the original movies, though.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, sure. But they're not all specifically pointed men who are saying, or they're not pointed women that are being like, the Ghostbusters are a bunch of schlubs, or anything like that.
Mostly men, just because there's mostly men anyway. It was just
okay.
It just happens to be men.
No, but my point is like they make them like cartoonishly stupid or irredeemable in the writing. All the men in this are irredeemably either stupid or dumb, or they don't take them seriously, or any other number of reasons. Like what? Or then there's the crony woman who's like, oh, the Ghostbusters, they're a bunch of people, we're gonna throw them in prison now, or whatever, to the reporters. And then this is a scene I don't think you saw. There's a guy that comes up to Kristen Wiig's character after the whole like meeting, or after they get like. They do one thing, and then the mayor and the mayor's assistant all show up, and they're like, "Oh, thank goodness you did everything. Now we're gonna arrest you," to make it look like it was nothing. After that, there's like a guy that comes up, is like recording her. He's like, "What do you think about this? You're kind of a joke." And then she like punches his lights out, and I was like, "What? Okay." And then I guess she doesn't get any assault charges or anything, but. Despite the fact that he was harassing her. So another irredeemable man who's yet harassing a woman.
Look, there are a lot of. I guess I don't. It doesn't bother me because I don't think.
To me, it's like I agree with you that it's not as heavy-handed as it could be, but the fact that the writing made a specific point to make either the only male character that is a positive person is so stupid that it's painful to watch.
They love him.
You have to look. You have to sort of. You can't read anything else, but that's what they were trying to do, and it's so lazy.
I guess, but they're men. The men, if you take those roles in any given movie, they tend to be men anyway. They just happen to be
right.
Men.
But
men
not necessarily. Why couldn't have been a woman mayor?
It could have been, but it's usually not. Even
right, but like
no matter who the leads are, it's like always a male mayor.
The writing and pacing just make no sense. The Ghostbusters should have some kind of like reason for them to even be hated by the mayor at all. And it's just kind of passed aside being like, oh, well, the feds have been watching you. And it's like, watching you do what? They've done one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And they literally just did it. So, I guess they killed Bill Murray. They did do that.
They killed Bill. She killed him.
Oh yeah, there's another irredeemable male character.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's character,
he was
which
about
by the
to
way,
be redeemed. He was redeemed. He got killed.
Bill Murray literally couldn't care less about being in the movie.
Look, it was like that's.
He literally walks into frame and just sits down. He walks in the room and then sits down, and then he leaves the movie forever because he gets killed by the ghost. Yeah, he collected a paycheck and said thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. We also got a cameo from.
Cameo for everyone.
Cameos, yeah.
Wait, it came here for basically everybody.
Yeah, most of them played out in the credits. Like a lot of them played out through the credits too.
Yeah, it was weird. Sigourney Weaver just showing up in the credits, being like wacky and silly. I was like, okay. Oh, I guess Leslie Jones's uncle. There's a positive male character. Too bad he shows up in the last 30 seconds of the movie.
Good. He came back for his hearse, bro.
Yeah. For the last 30 seconds of the movie, it was great.
Gabe's all right?
No, he's a fraud and a shyster.
He's not bad.
Yeah, he was tricking people in the theater.
He was tricking.
And then he disappears from the movie after the first 15 minutes, so he couldn't be redeemed. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's also Kristen Wiig's boyfriend. That's a whole subplot too. Her boyfriend / like colleague at the university or whatever. It's like where he like completely ignores her when she is getting fired or whatever, or being put on a leave of absence.
Why don't I remember this character at all?
And then he comes back. I know, that's what I mean.
I literally don't.
Yeah, well, they're all horrible.
Existed.
They did. He was a guy that she specifically tried to talk to when she was getting fired, and then maybe this is a scene that wasn't in the. I don't know. Isn't there a scene where she's walking down, where she has like a box of her stuff after she's getting fired, and she's like walking down and like awkwardly saying things to everyone. Mm-hmm. So one of the people that she awkwardly talks to is her like boyfriend / colleague person, who is like another professee or something.
And she I just want to see pictures so we can just remember.
And she tries to talk to him, and he like completely ignores her, and like doesn't say anything. And he comes back later in the movie and is like, he's still kind of is like a jerk.
Kristen Wiig boyfriend. I don't know, what's the name of the character?
I don't know, man. I don't remember this movie.
Yeah, he didn't exist in the movie I watched.
He had to have. Hold on.
It says the extended version of the film runs 17 minutes longer and features many additional scenes, subplots featuring Justin Kirk playing Phil Hudson, the boyfriend to Aaron Gilbert.
Wow. Okay, that's wild. We watched two. That's so strange to me. That's what I mean. That's wild. I didn't even know. I just rented whatever. I just rented whatever was available, and that was what was available.
I don't know. Yeah, I just don't. It was hard for me to even tell, like if I forgot, or a lot of these scenes. I'm sure I missed something.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't an alternate universe. We literally watched two different cuts of the film.
I've never seen this man. Never seen this man before, so no, I cannot relate to whatever you said. There were a lot of noticeable 3D effects in this movie. You could tell they made it for 3D, baby. There was freaking splashing at the screen going out of the widescreen.
There was. Oh, all the Slimer moments were all very like 3D feeling.
Like they came out of the widescreen, like overlapped it, and there's stuff like popping out. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Oh, that was not in my cut.
You didn't get that in your cut. You didn't get that in your movie.
Stuff coming out of the letterboxing that never happened in my cut. That's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it spit up, like it spit over the black over the widescreen. It was like, okay, that's definitely a 3D.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So they did do some 3D stuff.
And definitely with like the, freaking what's it called? Proton Packs or the lasers. I was definitely bending around too. It's like, oh yeah, that's definitely 3D.
Yeah.
Stuff happening there.
They really love the Proton Packs in these movies, huh? God. So it's like less is more. I think the Proton Pack is one of the coolest. It's like up there with the lightsaber with me. I love the Proton Pack.
Mm-hmm.
But like the lightsaber, less is generally more. And I definitely felt that in this movie. Because they felt the need to whip that out every 20 seconds, it seemed like.
I almost forgot my favorite Kevin moment. The favorite Kevin moment.
Oh, you found it?
Is when she takes the sandwich. At the end, she takes the sandwich and chucks it. And then he's like, "Oh, could you help me with that?" And someone chucks it back to him into the frame.
Yeah, it was like completely whole. It's like still the same. It's like it didn't flop apart or anything. But like, it's just the same sandwich, and it's like
someone just caught it behind it. And he's like, "Oh, can you help me with that?" She's like, "What?" It was awesome.
Yeah, that was very, very weird, very random. But yeah, that was funny. That was cute.
It's kind of cute. Kevin kind of cute. Didn't you notice?
I mean, yeah, it's Chris Hemsworth just doing whatever he wants. Like that's it. It was just them doing whatever they wanted the whole movie. So yeah, as we talked about, all the original cast makes cameos, except for Harold Ramis, rest in peace. But everyone basically makes a cameo. There's no Lewis though. He doesn't show up. Or not Lewis, but there's no Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
But basically everyone else, the secretary shows up as the receptionist at a hotel. Sigourney Weaver was post credits.
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson was like at the very end of the film. You know, when I was watching the movie, because I was watching it with one of my housemates, and I said the first time that Bill Murray showed up in the like TV thing where he basically had like two lines, I was like, I bet that is the extent of his role in this movie, and I was wrong. But it's not much. But when I was a little surprised when he came back a little bit, because I was like, wow, he actually. I mean, it was literally a day. It almost looked like they could have filmed that. Like they could have just like brought a camera to his house and just had him just like filmed him doing that and then left. But apparently he did come to set for one day and maybe like half a day and shot, and he got to walk into frame and then sit down, and then he didn't have to be part of the movie anymore. And
so yeah, I mean,
Dan Aykroyd was a knowledgeable ghostman. He knows about ghosts, I guess, and he was just a cabbie, a New York cabbie.
Oh yeah.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts, he says as he drives away.
That's right. The movie wasn't great. I think the biggest problem is that it's kind of like it makes cameos and references to the original, but I don't like that it's a whole alternate reality thing too, where it's like it acts like the original Ghostbusters didn't exist. You know, like I don't know why.
Yeah, it's like it's like Paul Feig was like, I don't want it to be any. He could have made it like a soft reboot. You could have had all the old characters show up again. He's like somehow wanting to. I feel like
want to have it interfere with a legacy.
I don't even know if it was that. I think it was more like I want to make these films, because they were clearly planning a whole mess of sequels, if not just one. Well, yeah. Did you see the post credits stinger, which is like, I heard Zool.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, at the very end. Yeah, Zool. You know the dog, not Gozer, the actual Mesopotamian deity, but they heard Zool because everyone
Mm.
knows the name Zool from
Yeah,
Ghostbusters, right?
I mean, you say
But
that, but I also don't care about any of that stuff. So
but well, yeah. But anyway, that they at the very end it was like I heard Zool. Like Leslie Jones was like listening to the SP whatever.
so they were gonna do sequels, huh?
They oh yeah
Yeah.
they were 100%. They were
Ugh,
down to clown with sequels.
that's gross. That's
They
gross
were
though, because then it's even worse. Because it's like, yeah, forget about the old Ghostbusters. We're just gonna do another thing. Okay, it
yeah,
just
and it's just yeah.
doesn't
There's
feel
so
good.
many
Like it's not the worst movie in the
no.
world, but it's just not like it didn't need to
It
happen.
it's not. I agree with you. It's not the worst movie in the world, but it feels very gross and corporate, especially in how all of the whole narrative was framed around it, where that Sony decided to adopt because of negative reactions to the trailer. It doesn't have to be a good movie as long as you can rally behind a cause. But apparently, that cause didn't help the movie at the box office because it bombed. So
Hmm.
we are not getting another Ghostbusters of this vein, and I'm very thankful for that. I want to read you a few words that one of my favorite YouTubers how they described the movie. There are a few words that they used to describe in summation what the film was. It is a theatrical disaster, horribly unfunny, juvenile, tasteless, dumb, forced, disgusting, and this is the one I think feels the most apt: pathetic and desperate. That is what this film feels like, is pathetic and desperate. I think the horribly unfunny is also pretty true too, and it just has to do with the fact that they just let them do whatever they want, and it felt like there's no structure to it.
Yeah, and it feels bad because it just like it is like just taking the Ghostbusters name and the Ghostbusters logo, and we're just gonna do stuff with it, you know.
It and it's like I don't I'm not even I like the concept is interesting. Like think about what you could do with a concept: 4 female Ghostbusters. It's like it's a gimmick, sure, but like I mean, what franchise isn't gimmicky to a degree? But they just sort of so in a way it's a wasted opportunity. But more than anything, it just feels bad.
feels bad, man. Yep.
It just feels bad.
It's a 4 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, this is like a three for me. I did not enjoy it. For the record, I think Assassin's Creed is like a 2, maybe a 1.5. That movie's
1.5.
horrendous. That it might have been worse than Doolittle. It's so bad. I can't believe how bad that movie is. But anyway,
Doolittle. What score did I give Doolittle, huh?
I think I think we give it 2 and a 1. I think
That's really low.
we gave it 2 and a 2.5 or something like that. We did give it pretty low.
I don't know if I went that low, but as I don't know, would you rather watch Doolittle again or Ghostbusters 2016? Again?
Oh God, that's like asking if I want the
Electric chair.
the electric chair or the poison. Both sound very horribly painful, but which would you pick? Oh boy, probably. I'm like siding with Doolittle because it's not as fresh in my mind, but I might say Ghostbusters just because I watched an alternate cut, so I'd like to see the original cut maybe. if I was forced, then I would watch the original cut rather than the extended cut or whatever it was. Plus, I would be able to get to see Proton Packs again, so that's cool, despite the fact that they're horribly overused in this film.
Fair enough. Well, that makes it a Tarqaron score of 3.5 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Low bar. Can Ghostbusters Afterlife get higher than that? I sure hope so.
I think so.
I sure hope so. I think so. I think
it's
good enough.
I think it's impossible for it not to. Honestly,
Yeah.
like you just take.
Even if it's not really that good, I don't think it can go that low.
Yeah. I honestly don't have high expectations. I don't know why I don't, but I don't.
No, I'm with you. I don't really either. I know it does have pedigree with it. You know, it's it is taking place at the same universe. Ernie Hudson's back.
All these old people are coming back.
It's being directed by Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, who actually cameoed, I think, in Ghostbusters 2. Jason Reitman was in that movie. It was just like a little small role as a little kid, but yeah, I don't really have very high expectations for it either, just because I don't know. But I feel like I actually legitimately felt insulted at the end of the movie, at this movie where it said for Harold Ramis, and I was like, that felt like the biggest pile of disrespect I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I get it. He's an important part of the DNA here, but like putting his name anywhere remotely close to this movie is an insult.
Well, I mean, they had the whole cast, like, they made cameos in the movie, so.
Yeah, and they clearly didn't want to be there.
So it'll be interesting seeing how the old cast is integrated into this new one.
Yeah.
This will be interesting to see. But that's where it'll all end. It'll be the final Ghostbusters for us.
Well, yeah, it'll end this. I don't know if it'll end Ghostbusters for good.
Is there supposed to be a series out of this too?
I don't know. I don't know if they're planning on that.
There always is.
I don't know.
Ghostbusters. How do you go after Afterlife? Seems like so dramatic.
Post Afterlife.
Yeah. All right. Well, after watching this, you should obviously go watch Doolittle. A review of Doolittle.
Yeah, go check it out. Another low bar for our channel.
But there was some fun moments of both, you know.
There's stuff that I'm never gonna forget from either of these. When a bunch of women shoot the proton packs and hit the Ghostbusters logo in the dick, it's kind of hard to forget that.
That stays with you.
It's pretty iconic, you know. It stays as I said multiple times whenever my housemate asked questions. I said, "No, don't question it. It's bold. All right, this is bold. This is a bold. This is a bold statement. It's a bold vision." No, they didn't. They were making it up as they went along.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's it. Okay, come back.
Yeah,
come back next time for Ghostbusters Afterlife, baby. So you gotta go watch that with us.
Hopefully, we won't have me ranting about agendas next time around.
The Finn Wolfhard agendas.
The Finn Wolfhard agenda. Yeah. Hardcore.
Freaking kid Ghostbusters in here. I don't know what he even does. But okay, maybe it's a freaking kid Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Jr.
Ghostbusters Jr.
And there's little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. Why?
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. That's weird. That's kind of stupid.
It already seems stupid to do that because like the fact that Stay Puft Marshmallow Man even existed in the first one was just kind of a random occurrence. It's not like you don't bring it back as like a.
It just popped in there.
Yeah, it popped into his head. So how are they? It's like a character now in this new one. Oh, it's the Ghostbusters character. They're gonna see the freaking Ghostbusters logo ghost again. I don't know. All right.
I'm beyond the capacity for rational thought.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And like us on Facebook at Tarqaron TWO. All right.